Are you ready to become a true gravity god and suck your foes to death from the universal force of attraction?
Hey, yo, pause!
Well, you came to the right video. What's up guys, it's Project, long time no see, and back with another build video. I'll address why I haven't uploaded in the last month towards the end of the video, but I want to share a build that I wanted to make forever ago for those still enjoying the game. So if you're ready for the ultimate gravitational build in the game that utilizes nearly all of the gravity themed weapons at its disposal, then smash that like button and let the build begin. Enter STARSCREAM. It is a level 150 quality build, basically using all the weapons that use that purple goodness. And statistically, since it's a quality build, you can use most other weapons as well whenever you want. So the flexibility for this build compared to most is off the charts. But the key ingredients that make this a gravity build are Ruin's Greatsword, Falling Star Beastjaw, Radan's Greatsword and Great Bow, and Meteoric or Katana. And my setup has enough equip load to have at least 3 of these weapons equipped at once, so as far as swapping goes, you only need to swap between the heavy stuff depending on the situation. Ruin's Greatsword is a colossal greatsword that is similar to Blasphemous Blade, sending out a gravity rock attack in a straight line in front of you. And while dealing less damage than Blasphemous, it is better at staggering enemies and even sends humanoids flying to the moon. You also get the standard CGS crouch poke attack, so it is decent PvP as well, if you can manage to land a wave of destruction by free aiming. And to get this weapon, you must beat the double boss battle in Redmane Castle in Caelid before the Radan Festival starts, or after beating Radan there. And the next weapon is Beastjaw, which is by far the most powerful out of all these weapons, purely for its Ash of War, which summons a falling star strike from above the enemy, similar to Thunderbolt. But it does insane posture damage, like Flames of the Redmane's level of posture damage, if not better, since the spam interval between each hit is super fast and you can use the skill from afar. So while the damage is just okay, being able to lock a boss down or snipe enemies from across the map with ease makes this the go-to for most situations, and certainly against bosses like Millennia that can usually dodge something like your Ruin's Greatsword attack. But in PvP, it is nice to catch people staying too far from you, since they're going to be taking 400 plus damage a hit, and that's going to force them closer to you so you can use your other gravity weapons. But this is dropped from the Falling Star Beast here in Gelmir Mountains north of Altus Plateau. Next is Star Scourge Greatsword, a boss weapon that when two-handed gives you a dual-wielding pair to destroy enemies with. These hit really hard, but the main meal is the Ash of War, Starcaller's Cry, emitting a huge gravity field that sucks enemies in, and then following up with another L2 slams down the swords for a huge explosion. This was perhaps the best PvP weapon out of the bunch, purely for the first part of the Ash of War, because it's a quick trigger and the AoE is massive. But the follow-up pretty much always missed for me, so I think occasionally swapping to this and getting that initial suck-in for 400 to 500 damage could be a really good tech swap, and certainly has its uses in invasions. In PvE, it's amazing at handling big groups of enemies, which the other weapons kind of struggle with, but for bosses, ultimately I think Beastjaw and Ruins are just better. You get this greatsword by beating Radan and using his remembrance for the trade-in. Speaking of Radan, his Great Bow is a part of the build as well. Now if you get the swords, you will have to trade for this or dupe his remembrance, but the Great Bow is your big enemy boss slayer. Its Ash of War combined with Radan's great arrows deals some crazy nice damage to something like Placiducex or other dragons, or even Elden beasts, melting their HP off from the arrows raining down on them. The only downside is you have to restock arrows from the Two-Finger Lady and the Round Table, but not that big of a deal since you can simply buy them as opposed to having to craft them. But it's a nice addition that gives you a ranged option against far-off enemies if you're not going to use Beastjaw to snipe them. And lastly is Meteoric Katana. It's similar to Star Scourge with Gravitas Ash of War stuck to it that sucks in enemies around you. The unique thing about this katana, however, is its R2. It has a which is pretty funny to land after pulling in an enemy and then following up with a normal or charged R2. PvP wise, this is a pretty decent weapon as well, and can always be your second main hand weapon in case you need something fast to deal with faster enemies. But this is found in the Caelid Waypoint Ruins here, and is the earliest gravity weapon you can get on a new character, so I would get this first and then go for Beastjaw, and use both to clear content to get the others. And lastly, an additional weapon you can add to this is the Great Lance. Lance, as we know, is a great PvP weapon, so if you add Waves of Destruction Ash of War into it, you get a great AoE skill on top of good pokes and roll catching with quality scaling for best damage. But Waves of Destruction makes NPC invaders a complete joke in PvE, as the delayed explosions kind of break their AI and can simply spam it while walking forward to delete them. And it's pretty solid in PvP as well, since it has hyper armor on the slam down, and you can follow up with an R2 to potentially get more damage in. And a little combo you can do is combine this with Radahn's sword to use Radahn's SUCC, and then switch to Lance quickly to use Wave of Destruction for tons of AoE. So those are the main weapons, and the build's playstyle is based off diversity. You're meant to swap between a variety of options to take down your enemies. So it's pretty fun to keep the gameplay fresh, so here is what the gear setup might look like. Radahn's Greatsword in slot 1, Katana slot 2, Claw Mark on your left hand with Flame Grant Me Strength since all these attacks have physical damage, so you get a 20% boost from that. I also have Bestial Sling for PvP, and then you have Radahn's Great Bow to pick off enemies, and you can wear all this with medium roll with my setup. Or you can put in Ruins or Beastjaw in place of Radahn's Greatsword and still wield everything perfectly. That was my goal for the build, to give you lots of options with minimal swapping. So I do sacrifice some defense, but with this, any situation is overcome by your repertoire of options. For the armor specifically, just wear something light enough to fit everything on. If you lose the Great Bow, you can wear some heavier stuff, but Rogier's set does increase damage for the skills slightly. Talismans: Alexander Shard, Erdtree Favor +2, Great Arsenal Charm, and the fourth is your Flex Spot. You can put in the Arrow Sting Talisman for better Radahn Great Bow damage, or Dragon Crest Great Shield for more physical defense if you find yourself getting killed or taking too much damage. Or personally, what I prefer is Ritual Sword Talisman for 10% extra damage while my HP is full. Up to you. Blast tiers depends on PvP or PvE. I like Magic Crack tier with Cerulean Hidden tier for PvE. It lets you spam stuff a bit better and your stuff will hit harder as well. You can also go for the Strength boosting tier as well. For PvP, pretty much just Crimson Whirl and Crimson Bubble tier, usually kind of toxic setup, but it works, I guess. And finally, stats at 150, Vagabond. Starting class is best in slot, otherwise these are the classes and the levels that would take to get the stats that I have. But this is pretty fine-tuned, so you want to copy everything exactly, especially the endurance. With my armor setup at least, 26 enabled me to wear what you saw before, but if you don't care for the Great Bow, you can maybe use less. Since two-handing doesn't increase your skill damage, it's pointless to go to 54 strength, so the 50 cap is the limit that you want to hit. But with Godric Great Rune equipped, you do get 55 strength and you get 50 dex and 55 vigor, so pretty much the perfect stats for PvE for a quality build, hitting all the, I guess, soft hard caps, whatever. And the reason I don't go strength and int instead is because majority of the weapons get more damage from dex that I tested, rather than int, even for the skill damage. The only exception is Ruin's Greatsword, since it doesn't scale with dex at all, but yeah, strength dex is best for this type of build, not strength int. So that is my STARSCREAM build. I hope you guys like it, and if you do, press that like button for the algorithm, bruh. In terms of power overall, compared to my other builds, this is probably the weakest one. Like, if my Executioner build is 10 out of 10 and the Bubble build is 9 out of 10, I would rate this an 8 out of 10. Definitely carried by Beastjaw, I would say, but none of the other weapons are overly amazing as far as damage goes. And now for the elephant in the room. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded in a whole month. It was a mix between being busy with work and the house stuff, my internet being dog shit, leading to PvP being not fun for me, and because of those two things combined, it led to procrastination. So seriously, I don't know what's wrong with this internet here. I mean, I would get spikes to 300 or even 1,000 milliseconds, or ms, or whatever that thing is called. You guys saw in my streams the frame drops I would get. I don't even have an IPv6 connection it's showing, which I don't know if that's normal, but that whole situation is the reason I haven't made the top 5 strength weapons video yet, because PvP was supposed to be a factor for which weapons got the top 5, and that's the reason it took so long for this video as well. Despite having most of the clips done like 2 weeks ago, the PvP matches I did were mostly horrible. Like, hits were registering like 5 to 10 seconds after attacking, which is strange considering my Rivers build at the time had mostly smooth experience, and now all of a sudden, over the past month, it's just not been good. So yeah, that's my bad excuse, but I'll be moving to a new place at the end of this week, and I'll get my internet sorted there. So yeah, we got some break at the end of June. I got my VTuber in the works as well, but like, I just want to be a normal content creator that can stream smoothly and enjoy games without lag. Is that too much to ask for, universe? Come on. So top 5 video will have to wait until after I move and get my internet sorted out. Again, sorry for not delivering, but that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoy the build. Comment down below if you guys are still playing or have moved on to other games, and I'll see you guys next month for more Elden Ring epicness.